What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more ABBA. And we're going back to the 2021 album Voyage. I wanted to once again thank the ABBA fans for their patience as we go through this at a slightly slower pace. And the next tune is Just a Notion, which reminds me of the phrase just an idea. That phrase is often used to indicate that someone is being speculative, just thinking aloud, just putting some ideas out there for consideration, not being overly authoritative or definitive, not being overly insistent. So I wonder if that will be the essence of the phrase in the song, though even if that's the case, obviously it'll be woven into some larger story. So let's find out what it is. This is ABBA. The tune is Just a Notion, and it's from the 2021 album Voyage. It's again, like, number one, people had mentioned to me that they weren't going to be swayed by modern expectations of, oh well, you have to modernize, you have to do things in some different way, that it was going to be an ABBA record, and the presence of that song alongside heavier, more serious songs feels like it is very much an ABBA record. So I enjoy that, the essence of the variety, but also the different flavors that marked their earlier records is being presented here, again 40 years later, which brings me to my next point. The ladies sounding so good on this one, which is, again, I get it. Obviously, there's going to be ways that they approach the vocal performance now that are perhaps part of understanding that their voices are not the same they were 40 years ago. But it's remarkable, like not only how good they sound, but how classic ABBA they sound. So really impressed by the vocal performance on this one. Love the composition. There's some real cool piano parts. Not only that, kind of powerful melodic run on the way out of the track, but there's some points along the way where it was a bit like lower among the other elements, but it was really sort of dancing and doing some cool things. There was that one where it sort of like, ran down to the end of the keyboard. So I like the composition once again. And yeah, ultimately a fun tune. When it started, I was gonna say like, oh man, it's giving me a bit Beach Boy vibes, which I hope that's not seen as like a critical remark, but it was more like the atmosphere. And then as it went on a little bit farther, it was like, oh, maybe that's wrong. Maybe it's more like Motown, but it gave me like a classic mid 20th century sort of feel, with the sonic stylings. Now as it went on, again, it played out as like a very fun, like vintage ABBA track. But like I said, at the very start, it gave me a couple different flavors. It was like, oh, Beach Boys? No, more Motown. But then again, in the end, inevitably ABBA. So I did enjoy the sonic flavoring of that one. So another cool tune, and it's nice to have, as I said, a bit of a lighter track. Despite the fact, or not despite, but after we've gone through a couple heavier songs with a lot of emotional weight for ABBA fans and for ABBA as a group and so on. This one felt a bit brighter. Lyrically, I didn't catch everything, but what I did catch is that she's saying like, okay, it's just this feeling that I have inside. It's just this notion. So it sounded more like, or less like what I was thinking in advance about the idea of putting some words out there, and more about like, I don't really know how to articulate this. It's just kind of this feeling I have, but I'm pretty sure I'm right about it. And as she gets to the end, she said like, I think it's actually more than a feeling, which, or more than a notion, which made me laugh, because it was like, it's the way that as you get confirmation, or what appears to be confirmation, you might be increasingly convinced that even if you can't fully understand what you're feeling, you're pretty convinced you're onto something. So it felt like that was sort of the mental journey she was taking. So like I said, another cool tune. Looking forward to the next one. Again, I do appreciate the patience. It'll probably be another week or so, 5 to 7 days. So hopefully this isn't too sluggish for everybody. But like I said, once we get to the end of this, we still have Anyata's solo material. We still have Frida's solo material. So lots more to go after. Let me know what you think of this. I will see you next time. Peace.